Right, starting with the challenges in the plant industry. The plant design journey is filled with challenges and obstacles that need to be overcome. So projects are fast-tracked and it can feel like you are falling behind schedule before you have even started. So there are multiple project tasks that need to run simultaneously. There also are decreased budgets and tighter time frames that make it feel like you won't meet your project requirements. So how does your business currently meet these challenges? So there is also too much time spent on inefficient tasks and disconnected workflows. The edits and changes are constant, with many design steps being repeated over and over. So these drawings being edited separately causes inconsistencies, and it is difficult to find mistakes and clashes between disciplines and across your whole project. Or maybe you are using a variety of software solutions from several vendors to meet your workflow needs, and you are experiencing a cost of ownership, including investments in licensing, your hardware, installation, maintenance, admin, and professional services. So you may find that it is a headache and quite a process to get all of the different softwares working together, and that is if they all do. So then lastly, you got your dispersed project teams. So there is dispersed teams and partners and customers all across the country or even globally, and this might make collaboration a process that is harder than it needs to be. So we will introduce Autodesk's AutoCAD Plant 3D and show you how this software can help your teams rise to meet these challenges and create new opportunities. Right, our next two slides will have a list of the titles and industries we serve. So if you guys don't mind sharing, would you please drop in the chat section your title as well as the industry you are in. Okay, so up next we have a quick overview of the Plant 3D software. So Plant 3D has a 2D for the PNID side as well as the 3D side for the 3D modeling. So it's no longer two separate software but one single software. So you also have your means of collaborating securely in a cloud-based common data environment, and there's also other forms of collaborating with the plant software. So you can also speed up and automate your PNID drafting and your PFD drafting on the 2D side of the software, and then also speed up and automate the 3D modeling on the 3D side of your software. So this is equipment and structures as well as piping. Then you can also automatically create piping isometric drawings directly from your 3D model, and you can create piping orthographic drawings of your 3D model. Looking more in depth on the collaboration and PNID section of the software. So collaboration for Plant 3D is a feature with a cloud-based common data environment for collaborating with your projects on the ACC and the BIM platforms. Other ways you can collaborate on plant projects is by saving your project on a local server, or you can use Vault. So the quick PNID drafting feature is just for using in-context AutoCAD commands to make your PNID and PFD drafting easier. So there's no need to draw separate lines and create blocks of your symbols. All of those symbols and blocks have already been created in tool palettes for you. So the industry standard symbol libraries. So Plant 3D toolset is delivered with standard symbol libraries in the tool palettes. So these include your PIP, your ISA, ISO-DIN, and your JIS. You are also able to create your own tool palettes and create your own custom symbols. So then there's the data validation, where you can quickly identify possible errors by scanning your PNIDs or your for any data inconsistencies according to a user-definable rule system. So you can set up those rules to scan for various things across your drawings. On the 3D modeling side of Plant 3D, you can quickly create Plant 3D models using the parametric equipment modeling, your structural steel libraries, and your project-specific piping specifications using industry standard piping catalogs. So on the equipment creating, you can create equipment using your parametric templates. So in this case, the templates is the shape of the equipment, and then you can save this for future reference as well. And this will help you to build your plant layouts faster. For any intricate equipment, you can use Fusion and Inventor as well, which integrates with Plant. Then on the structural modeling, you have your structures, stairs, ladders, and railing commands to design your structures in Plant using your international standards as well as SAN standards. For any detailing or connection modeling, we would recommend using Rivet or Advanced Steel, which also nicely integrates with Plant. So on your specs and catalogs, so Plant 3D has a custom spec and catalog builder where you can customize your piping specifications to meet the specific requirements. And this includes your standard components as well as customized components. So you can create off of existing catalogs and specs, and you can create from scratch your own catalog and your own specifications to use in your projects. Plant 3D has its own project manager within the software where you can manage the documentation and all the drawings within the project. For creating orthographic drawings, you can extract piping orthographic drawings directly from the 3D model and then update them as your 3D model is being updated. For creating piping isometrics, you can create industry standard or project standard piping ISOs directly from your 3D model. You can also create reports, so you can define the report format for the project and then automatically populate this data from your 3D model. Then for the BIM modeling documentation, so you can work with other industry disciplines to create the BIM models for the plant. Here's a look at the general workflow of AutoCAD Plant 3D. So you have your general design and drafting and your PNID design and drafting, which also includes the PFDs on the 2D side of the software. Then you have the 3D modeling documentation, your equipment and skid design, structural design and detailing, so that's on the 3D side of the plant software. And then you got your project visualization and review as well. So that's at the end of your project following that cycle. Keeping that general workflow in mind, here we have an overview of what software works well with Plant. So on the general design and drafting section, you can use your AutoCAD. Otherwise, you can use Plant itself on the 2D side of Plant. So for the PNIDs and the 3D section, it's no longer separated. It's within one software, which is Plant 3D. Then we have your structural design and detailing. So like I said before, if you want to go into more detail on connection design and more intricate detailing, there's Rivet and Advanced Steel that work well with Plant. Then for the equipment and skid design, we have Inventor with the rooted systems, and then for project visualization and review, so if you need to do visualization and clash detection, we have Navisworks Manage, and for the review side and renderings, we got 3ds Max. A quick look at the software offerings we provide. So we do offer the product design and manufacturing collection. This includes all the software here on screen. Just to highlight, you do get your Inventor, your AutoCAD with the Plant 3D, the Navisworks, and the 3ds Max. Our other offering we provide, we got your AutoCAD including specialized toolsets. So this includes all software here on screen, and it automatically includes the Plant 3D toolset. Right, so here we are in the Plant 3D software. As you can see, it's very similar to the AutoCAD interface, as it's based off of it, so it will be very easy to adapt. On the left side, we got the project manager there, and you can create your new projects or open existing ones. So for this one, we're just going to call it Plant 3D, all you need to know. Then you're also able to add a description of a project. You can choose the file destination where you want that project to be saved. Okay, and then you can also copy project settings from an existing project, or you can create one from scratch. So on next page, you'll select the units you want to use your project in. So I'm going to choose metric and mixed metric there. And next on all those ones, this page is just to select on a server or just on a local network. Yeah, so there we got our file structure, Plant 3D, related files, your specs, your PNIDs, and your 3D drawings. So under the PNID drawings, we can create a new folder. So there you can create specified areas or locations on in your plant or in your project. And then you're also able to create new drawings. So I'm just going to call that 001 there. As you can see, this is what the paper space looks like. And then you can move through to the model space and from there draw your PNID. So I'm going to switch the tool palette to pip there, and we can draw a line for the piping and then place some equipment in there. So this is just to showcase what it would look like. Right, and then you can tag it. So it auto nozzles some equipment for you, and then you can place valves and it will auto tag that. Right, so I'm just going to copy a drawing from an existing project that has more information on the PNID. Alright, so there we go, PNID 001. So in there we got, so it's just complaining on that valve we placed. So I'll show you guys now. So in the model space, we can have a look at what the different symbols on the PNID looks like. So there we got that error coming up. So in the previous valve I placed, it showed us 001. So it needs a unique number. So that's why that's coming up. So we'll get to that. So there we can see some instrumentation, some valves. You can also see the equipment in green and all the pipelines and all the tagging and annotation information. So on 101 we got that hand valve that's clashing. So I'm just gonna reset the tag there. Looking at existing ones, and here you can make sure you use a unique tag name or tag number. And then we can just update to pull through to the other drawing. Right, so there we got that updated. So here's the 101, and on the other drawing would be that 113 we changed it to. Right, so on the 3D side, you can also create folders and drawings. So here we would recommend splitting it up between your equipment structures and your piping drawings. So you can go and create separate folders for that. You can create multiple folders to split up your plant. So the more you can split it up into smaller sections, the better. So creating drawings is going to be the same process. So let's quickly create our structures folder. Right, so on to creating drawings, the same steps. Only difference here would be the template it's going to use, which would be a 3D workspace environment. So there we got a 3D environment there. So I'm also just going to copy over drawings from an existing project. that already has some equipment placed in there. Right, so then also it's these drawings you would reference your structures and piping drawings, your structures and your equipment drawings into the piping drawing to make it all come together. So there we got our drawings copied to our project, and I'll just move them into the respective folders. So we'll start with the structures drawing. So there you can see what the structures look like. So you are able to detail your structures in Plant 3D. So there we got our grid, you got your members, railings, stairs, plate, and all that for your structures. So also notice, so here we got just a 360 view. And if I zoom into one of these connections here, so there we don't model connections within Plant 3D. Okay, so on the equipment side, so I'm just gonna change the view. So there we got our equipment, and you'll see the XREF of the structures that's attached to this drawing, and that's where the so I'm going to change the tool palette to Plant 3D, and then here's where you create your equipment. So that's the template, equipment template I was referring to earlier. You can save the shape, the template shape in your project for future reference to use again. And then you can also add nozzles to equipment that you've already placed. So there's the options for that. And then you can edit existing nozzles, so you can change the size and the location. Then there's also other types of equipment that you can place. Also you can save the templates of those for future reference. If you hover over them, you'll also get the tagging information on those equipment. Right, so then on the piping side, so here we can change the workspace, the view quickly, visual style. And then you can also see that these equipment and the structures is referenced into the piping drawing. Right, so the pipes are in different segments placed there, but you can also connect them to the same line number. So if I just go here, add to connected line number, that entire section there is in the same line number. So then there's also the visuals of the valves, so you are able to edit valves after you've placed them. So you can change the rotation of the hand wheel. Right, so there I see it's an ideal position, so then you can just, I'm gonna move it back. Right, so then also having a look on using the tool palette for the 3D object, so you can start routing your pipe. So this is what it will look like when you place the piping within the 3D space. And then you can place your fittings and valves from your tool palette. So there you place it, select orientation, and that's what it would look like placing piping in the 3D space. So then you also have your creating your ortho views. So once you've done with your 3D model, you can create your views. So then I'm just creating a test one. So it pulls up this ortho editor where you can specify everything that needs to be placed. So there we can add our reference drawings as well to be displayed in the author drawings, and then you can adjust the box around the objects to be printed or created on the drawing. Right, so I'm going to keep my scale there and then create the drawing. So you can place your base view, it renders it, and there you got your view. So you can also annotate this. So you can activate the viewport, select your equipment. Okay. So select the equipment, go to auto annotate, place an equipment tag. So this is how you would annotate. So you can also annotate your piping, fill in the line number, same tag as on the PNIDs, the format, and then you can also place your dimensions in there. So this is what the author space would look like. So you can create an adjacent view from that. So let's select the front view, place it in there, and then it creates the adjacent views for you. Still everything that was within the box we specified. So then moving on to the ISOs. So there we got different templates, paper sizes. So you can, if we open that, you'll see the different line numbers from the entire project. So that's all the line numbers that have been assigned. So any piping in your drawing that doesn't have a line number is not going to be created. So you can create your author. We'll select Final A3 there, select the line number, and then create the drawing. So that's going to run in the background, and while the ISOs are busy running in the background, you can continue working on your other drawings. Right, so there we see our ISO is complete, so we can go and open that. So I've selected this line number here, 1599, and then we can select that link and open one of those drawings, and this is what the ISO would look like. So they're under Final A3, under that tree 1599, we will find all the drawings that's been created for that line number. So it's split it into 6 according to this setup, the setting setups. So it's been set up to split it according to how much information you want to fit onto the page. So let's open a couple of them. So there's the different segments that it's split up there on the different drawings. And then you can see how it would dimension it, what the symbols looks like, and the annotation. And you can customize this to your company standards. So there we got a bill of materials and a cut list. You can also place in a welding list when you do the setup for your template. So here are the other ones. So as I said, you can customize this in the project setup to your drawing standards. So that's what the authors looks like. So then just looking at what this, there's the specs you can use. So you can create your own spec, load it into your project, and use that spec. So related files will be any PDF documents, Excel documents, any reference drawings, anything like that. So this view on the project manager you can also see in the file explorer. So I'm just going to show you guys here. Here's our project folder. So in there we'll find our PNID drawings folder and all the drawings and folders that you created within that folder. So there's that folder structure there. And then you got your 3D one with all the folders and respective drawings. So you got your related files, which would be empty, the pipe specs, there's all the specs within this project. And then also you'll find your orthographics. So there we got the ISOs. So this is where it's created and saved. Then you got your authors under drawings. You'll find that test drawing we created. Right, so that's the folder structure within your file explorer. And then we recommend managing that through the project manager. So then that's it for the demo and a look of what is inside Plant.